And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome today's team officials. The Chicago Red Stars and your very own Sky Blue FC. The referee for tonight's match is Karen Abt. Assistant referees are Jennifer Garner and Logan Brown. And the fourth official is Arthur Sibiga. And now, the starting lineup for the visiting Chicago Red Stars. Jennifer Hoy, Aaron Gilliland, Alyssa Moss, Abby Urseg, Vanessa DiBernardo, Rachel Kwan, Samantha Johnson, Michelle Dalton, Sofia Huerta, Danielle Colaprico, and the captain, Taryn Hemmings. The head coach of the Chicago Red Stars is Rory Dames. He is assisted by Trey Manny and Christian Labors. And now, your 2015 Sky Blue FC, presented by Meridian Health. Number 2, Shauna Gordon. Number 5, Maya Hayes. Number 6, Taylor Lytle. Number 9, Nadia Nati. Number 10, Katie Briel. Number 13, Kristen Grubka. Number 17, Haley Hodgma. Number 18, Lindsay Hudson. Number 22, Camille Levin. Number 32, Meg Morris. And your captain, number 1, Brittany Cameron. The head coach of your Sky Blue FC is Jim Guevara. He is assisted by Takayoshi Ishihara and Christy Holly. The Sky Blue FC athletic trainers are Sue Penrod and Dan Krzyzewski. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats as we honor the United States of America with the singing of our national anthem. Performing the national anthem this evening is Julie Nathanson.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous
Ladies and gentlemen, Julie Nathanson.
And welcome to another broadcast of Sky Blue Soccer. I'm Charlie Flo, and I'm joined by a special color commentator tonight, Brittany Alvarado.
Hi, Charlie. Taking my sideline reporting up to the press box today.
Yes, it's going to be good. We'll have the radio down to you every 20 minutes. We're going to have you all 90 minutes, so we're looking forward to this game against Chicago. These two teams met earlier in the season, so a little bit different Chicago team. They're missing their key starters from the U.S. national team, Canada, and they've got their New Zealander back tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, with the Chicago Red Stars, they currently stand in third place at 4-1-3. Their last game against the Washington Spirit got called due to weather, unfortunately. But so the last game they played, they lost 3-1 to the Western New York Flash, and I thought for the majority of that game, the Western New York Flash pretty much dominated. But the Chicago Red Stars just really have to look to counter quickly. They like to use a lot of high pressure. They have attacking forward Sofia Huerta, who is great up top. Sky Blue also has Nadia Nadim, and it's going to come down to what forward is going to score the most.
Yeah, definitely the World Cup break was good for Sky Blue. Nadim had been knocked up, so she's in the starting lineup. We're looking for a lot of speed for Sky Blue. Working the wings will be Maya Hayes making her start again at right back, naturally a forward, but Gaber's been experimenting in the right back position. It's been working well. And then in the left back position for Sky Blue is going to be Meg Moore. So a lot of speed on the wings.
Yeah, both of those girls, Maya and Meg Morris, have shown that they can score and they can get up into the attack. Of course, we know in the beginning of the season, Maya Hayes was up at the top with Nadia, but has been put back in the right back position. Has been doing a great job. She uses her speed. I know Jim Gabera has been telling Maya, get up forward, get up forward. So the more we see Maya up in Sky Blue's offensive third, the more attacking promise that they're going to have.
And also in the backfield for Sky Blue will be Kutzall and Grubka, two mainstays in the center back position. And a little bit of question marks coming in. There were some questions whether Coco Goodson was going to be game fit. She's probably about 45 minutes fit right now, so would not be surprised to see her as a late type of sub, like an after 75 or 80-minute mark sub. So definitely a good boost to have back here for Sky Blue. Just came back out of retirement, so it's good to see her back.
It's great to see Coco back. I said she pulled a Brett Favre coming out of retirement, but she is a familiar face with Sky Blue that the fans and the team love to see. The combination of Kutzall and Kristen Grubka have really been solid for Sky Blue this year, and back in the center backs. Both tall, both presences. Grubka has such a keen for the ball, getting the header. She's so tall, so strong, and Kutzall, the veteran, just helping Grubka anchor it down back there.
And looking on Chicago's side, a player that you have to put about 15 eyes on. I don't know, I guess that's an odd number, maybe 16. You almost have to put all 22 eyes on the field on Sofia Huerta. She has 6 goals in her 7 starts, played in 8 games, started 7. She's got 6 goals and 1 assist, so she's averaging just under a point a game.
Yeah, and also Sofia Huerta, as you said, just such a great presence for Chicago Red Stars, coming in for Kristen Press, has not missed a beat, was the NWSL Player of the Week in Week 5, Week 6, and was just named the Player of the Month for May.
Yeah, so we are underway. Chicago's going to be in the red socks, red shorts, kind of the dark blue tops. They're going from the right of your screen to the left, and Sky Blue's in the blue tops, really dark blue shorts and the dark blue socks. They're going from your left to your right. Pass back to Dalton, pressure by Friels. Dalton clears it off. Grubka gets a little bit ahead. Looks like Hoy got some head on that. Another interesting story is Jen Hoy wearing number 2, the other forward up top for Chicago. She's from Princeton. Well, she played at Princeton, excuse me. She's from Bucks County, Pennsylvania, so she's got some fans in the stands tonight. Battle there with Meg Morris in the back. Kicked out. It's going to be a corner kick for Sky Blue. Early corner kick here, still in the first minute.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, some locals for Chicago. Danielle Colaprico, the 9th overall pick for them, is from Freehold, New Jersey. I had no idea until today that's where I was born, so it's pretty cool that she's from New Jersey. So
Jersey's strong. Jersey's just a state to just create soccer players both on the men and women's side. So corner kick Chicago. Put in play. Cleared out by Friels. On it, Johnson plays it wide, put back in the box. Hoy gets a little bit ahead on it, but there's a foul. Looks like Hoy fouled Maya Hayes.
And Sky Blue showing their defensive strength early here. They've definitely been a shining point this whole season for them.
So Cameron looking for room. Looks like she was trying to play a short ball, but now she's telling all her players just to go deep. She's going to blast one in. Nadim goes up, gets the header, goes back over to Chicago. Hoy with the ball, dispossessed by Friels. In the mix, Vanessa DiBernardo, second-year player for Chicago. She comes in with 4 assists, so she's definitely up in the top for assists. Definitely a playmaking type of midfielder.
Yeah, her and Huerta have combined a lot this season, and she's been serving them into the box for Huerta, and Huerta's been finishing them off, so kind of makes sense that she's top of the list for assists, and Huerta's right behind Crystal Dunn with 6 goals.
Yeah, it's very interesting with Press being one of the players for the U.S. national team getting early goals for Chicago, but not that Huerta's, I mean, she's a great player, but when you have a player in a system that sets you up as a forward, you're just that much better. So we're going to have a Chicago throw in. And Friels possesses just out of the reach of Nadim. Play over to the center circle. Chicago with numbers going up. Played wide. Gillian's in the box. Maya Hayes with a stab move. Crossed in front of the box. Grubka with a sliding save.
And Gillian is so dangerous when she pushes up from the outside back. She has shown in prior games that when she comes up, she drives it down to the line, serves it into the box, and that is when Chicago is most dangerous.
Johnson with the ball in. Just hit over. It's going to go out for a goal kick. It's overplayed to Alyssa Matsu, who had a cup of coffee with Sky Blue. So there's a couple little ties here with Sky Blue. We have Alyssa Matsu back in the 2011, the last season of WPS. She was playing with Sky Blue. Played over to Hayes. Hayes over to Morris, intercepted. And deflected out. It's going to be a Sky Blue throw. That went off of Rachel Kwam, who's one of the Canadians on the team that didn't get the call up. You know, she'd played some international games for Canada, but she didn't make the World Cup roster. So it's always that interesting thing, Brittany, that you want to see your players play in the World Cup, but there's some greedy sides to you that say, well, I want to keep my good players.
Yeah, and just like looking at Crystal Dunn with the Washington Spirit, Mark Parsons is thanking Jill Ellis every day for letting her stay with the team.
Again, scored the game winner last night against Houston, so if anything, it lights a fire sometimes under these players.
Yeah, absolutely. And for them, if they're getting more playing time with their club teams, I think it's great for them. And also looking forward to capping more with the national teams. This is helping them progress and get better.
Definitely.
I think Sky Blue is having some early troubles just getting it through their midfield, and that is something that they've struggled all season with. Is Nadia Nadim is obviously a huge threat, but they just have not been getting any good balls up to her to get through that midfield.
Well, there's Nadim, but that was a ball way past the midfield area. Just getting good balls to her is what they're looking for. Cutsall plays a ball wide to Hayes. She's got Morris in front of her. Plays over to Lytle. Lytle's passes deflected and stripped away. Chicago on the run. Sophie Huerta with the ball dribbling into the box. Takes a move. Grubka dispossesses momentarily. Huerta finds the ball back in. Crosses in front of her goal. That's a Chicago goal. Chicago's on the board here in the 6th minute.
And that is just poor marking from Sky Blue in the box. Kristen Grubka called Huerta's number, just flew right past her. That's what Sofia Huerta does. She makes players get off their mark, and that was proof.
Yeah, so Chicago's going on the board here in the 6th minute. Pretty much all the play has been on Sky Blue's defensive side. So we're starting back up, looking at the replay. And that's a Chicago goal in the 6th minute. Sky Blue pressing. McMorris throwing to Hayes.
Chicago goal scored by number 10, Vanessa DiBernardo. The assist to number 20, Sofia Huerta.
Megan Morse back to Haynes.
Vanessa DiBernardo from Sofia Huerta.
So Huerta does get the assist. There was a lot of traffic in there, so it is confirmed that the goal was by Vanessa DiBernardo. Definitely a lot of soccer in her blood.
Definitely, it was the complete opposite. Though usually it's DiBernardo serving to Huerta. DiBernardo left wide open on that one. And yeah, we talked about earlier, DiBernardo's father played in the 1964 Olympics. With
84, you mean?
Oh, yeah. Excuse me. That's pretty long ago.
No, he played in the 84 Olympics. No, you're right. That's actually a stat I didn't learn until last night. I knew that he played for the Cosmos, but yeah, you brought up there earlier in the pregame, we were talking about that DiBernardo's father, Angelo Bernardo, played in the Olympics, and it's interesting. Back then, I actually looked up the rules on the Olympics back in 84 because the rules now are you're allowed to have, I think, 3 players over 23, and the rest are for the men's side, or the U23 players pretty much are your Olympic roster. Back then, it was 5 caps. If you had 5 caps and under, you could play for the Olympic team. So that's very interesting. And playing with the Cosmos back in the 80s, just anybody's played with Pele, so I'm pretty sure that she's gotten a few tips through her father, of how to play. And there we are, back in the net, 6 minutes, Chicago with the lead. And that's played wide to Gillian. She plays it in. Cameron way off her line. Going to collect it in. Over to Cutsall. Also interesting look for Chicago. This is their 3rd jersey, a jersey I've never seen live, so a very interesting mix. Yeah,
their kits are pretty sick. They did release the three kits earlier in preseason. Looks very good. Looks sharp.
Yeah, it's interesting. With some teams, technically, you could argue that there's 4 kits because a lot of the teams have their warm-up jerseys, and then they have their home and away and their third option jerseys. So definitely good to see the Women's League having the 3rd jersey because those are very coveted by the fans. Sometimes those are the release dates people just pay attention to on social media. Hogsma puts it in. Intercepted by Colaprico, excuse me. Over to Hoy. Hoy's just outside the box. Plays a cross in. Huerta with the header over. One that Huerta definitely wants back.
Yeah, if she would have gotten on top of that, that would have been another quick goal for the Chicago Red Stars. Defensively, I did mention that they've been shining. Sky Blue has been shining this whole season, but Chicago just finding a way and finding openings in the box, and they're going to keep capitalizing if Sky Blue can't mark up.
Yeah, Roy Dames has got a good system in here. They lost 8 players to international call-up. They got one of them back today, and they did lose Bywaters for the season. So really, for a while there, they were missing 9 players and still playing great soccer. And even without Roy Dames here, he's in Seattle at the moment. But that's a blast by Gordon just off. But like I was saying, is Roy Dames is actually in Seattle now coaching. So, wish him best of luck out in Seattle for a term he's coaching out there. But, that was shot not on goal, but definitely in the right direction for Sky Blue with Shauna Gordon. Put a shot that just went wide. So sometimes you got to start shooting, testing the goalie, just getting some reps in.
Yeah, well, going back to you talking about the Chicago Red Stars losing 8 players to the World Cup, I think a lot of teams before the girls left thought, well, how are we going to play with our national team players? And Chicago losing Press, Kolupny, Box, and their goalkeeper, Karina LeBlanc. They've sat at the top of the table this whole time, and it's great to see these young players who haven't played that much, some reserves getting some time all around the league, just truly shine and prove themselves.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where we'll hold off a thought now. We got a Sky Blue break here. Cross in, deflected by Hayes. So that was Gillian pushing up. She's doing a lot of pushing up, listed as a defender, but definitely a part of the offense.
And Sky Blue definitely needs to keep her intact and stop her from pushing up into their offensive third, or else she's just going to keep making things happen into the box.
Huerta with the ball and easily scooped up by Cameron. Chicago playing very tight. Nadim goes up. Friels comes out with it. Lytle comes out with the ball. Played a little too hard. Back over to Chicago. Shauna Gordon on the challenge. Chicago come back out with it. Sam Johnson. Over to Huerta. Quam. Back over to Gillian.
Sky Blue kind of just hanging back now defensively, watching what's going on. Chicago Red Stars will find the holes and make them pay.
Mach decides to play it back. Ertzig with the ball just over the midway line. Cuts off with the challenge. Gordon plays it back to Levin. Gordon just plays it up. Ertzig. Over to Colaprico. Colaprico loses. Over to Friels. Hogsma. To Hayes. Friels. A lot of pressure. Quam with the tackle. Morris. Back to Grubka. Right at the center circle. Hogman plays a long right-footed ball over to Levin, just about 2 yards out of her reach.
And that was great possession by Sky Blue in the midfield, much better than they have starting off the game. Just kicked it away. That can't happen.
Yeah, I think that right there up until that cross that went a little too far is showing a little patience. You know, you don't want to hit the panic button. You still want to play your game. Just play Sky Blue ball because they're a very defensive team that usually control their third of the field.
Well, that's kind of been the theme. Nadia Nadim is up top, and they haven't been able to get any good balls up to her. And I'm sure Nadia would love a ball and love to go one-on-one with any of those defenders and take them on and score a goal. But she can't do anything if they can't make it through the midfield.
DiBernardo plays it just out of the reach of Quam. Meg Morris intercepts, tries to play a ball into Nadim, just intercepted. And we have some contact and a foul. It's going to be Chicago ball. Johnson calling for help. Back to Johnson. She's got Gillian to her left. She plays over to Huerta. Back to Quam. Gillian. Back over to Johnson. Dean with all kinds of pressure. Meg Morse intercepts. Friels. Hogsam in the middle just passes about the Grubka.
And Chicago's very susceptible to quick counters like we saw against the Western New York Flash. The Flash have very quick forwards, and once they quick countered, they went through their back line and scored 3 goals that game. So if Sky Blue can hold possession here and do a quick counter attack, they can put their defensive line up against the wall.
Yeah, it's something that Chicago, a lot of these teams play on turf, and this field's a little bit slower than your normal turf field, and hopefully Sky Blue can take advantage of that situation tonight. Over to Levin. Levin's got some space, dribbling towards the box. Loses the ball, but Lytle grabs it. Great tackle in there, cleared out by Ertzig. Playing advantage. Lytle with the ball. Lytle going in the bop. And kicked wide. Going to roll out for our first Sky Blue corner kick of the night. Lytle with good possession in the box. Forced Ertzig to kick it out. Only angle that she had. So this will be Sky Blue's first corner of the night. It's going to be Friels taking it.
Yeah, her and Shauna Gordon have shared duties with taking the corner kicks here. So let's see if Sky Blue can get something on the board.
Ball in swinger. Headed away by Ertzig. 11 on the deflection. I think she's going to let it just roll out. I think Friels was trying to get about extra 5 yards on the throw in there. Don't blame her.
Every inch counts.
Friels back to 11. Yeah, we've seen that a lot even just if you've been watching the World Cup, you know, there's been a lot of that. You'll see the ball go out and the player will just add about 5 yards onto it. Gordon with the cross in. Lytle handles it. Lytle with a left-footed shot. Easily gobbled up by Dalton, the goalkeeper, wearing number 18 tonight for Chicago.
Nadim with just not enough pace on the ball. Didn't challenge Dalton enough. She scoops it right up for an easy save.
Did I say Lytle? I did. Man, that's why I'm glad I have your eyes on me. I'm the old guy in the booth.
I got the young eyes.
I've got a couple decades on you, Brittany. Or do I feel like I do?
Age is just a number.
No, not exactly when it's on the field. I guess in the booth it doesn't matter as much. But on the field, unless you're talking about Rampone, that she can outrun half the 25-year-olds in this league, and she's now 40 years old, up in Canada, settled in Montreal. So best to our World Cup players on the U.S., Kelly O'Hara, and Rampone that are still battling strong with the USA.
Yeah, Chrissy Rampone is ageless, that's for sure. And she will tell you. She will tell you. She's done a lot of interviews where she says she gets so frustrated with media and everyone else who says she's too old to play. She's like, well, my body feels like it's 25.
Yeah, she's on the field, and I'm doing the interviews, so keep doing the play, and let the critics be the critics. Huerta with the ball, approaching the box, put the right foot across in, easily scooped up by Cameron. Soft little roll out to Hayes. Hayes pushing up.
See if Sky Blue can get a quick counter here.
Friels. Deflection. Over to Nadim. Took a little deflection off of Nadim and Johnson, but Nadim comes out with it. Dispossessed. DiBernardo plays a long ball in. Very, very hopeful, but way out of the reach of Huerta. Gordon back over to Lytle. To Friels. Juan with the challenge on, but Friels maintains possession and dumps it off to Gordon. Gordon at the center line decides to cross it over to Lytle. Lytle with a swinger over to Hayes. Hayes with all kinds of space. She's got Meg Morse to her right. Hayes still maintains. Hayes is in the box. Right footed shot deflected off by Johnston. Morse puts a cross in, and Dalton catches it off the jump.
Great attack. Wow.
Sure, Maya Hayes' eyes got very large when she approached the box, because she naturally is a forward out of Penn State. She started some games at forward earlier in the season, but because of World Cup call-ups and some banged-up players, she's the starting right back now.
Well, it's great to see her push up into the box. That way there's more numbers. When Nadia Nadim is up in the box, there's just defenders flocking around her. We all know what she did last season. She hasn't had the same impact this year, so for Sky Blue to have her be effective, they need to have other attackers in there to take their mind off Nadim.
Definitely. And it's not that Nadim's been playing bad. I mean, there's a lot, like you said, like the media too will say, why can't Nadim? It's a lot of the teams are really pressing the midfielders tighter, so Nadim's not getting the same type of balls she did last year. But hopefully, she's such a smart player and has such a high IQ for soccer that she'll be able to figure that out and just find where she was last year.
Well, it's tough because the only players on Sky Blue who've gotten on the board is Katie Friels with 3 goals and Nadia right behind right behind with 2. 1 in the run of play and 1 was a PK against the Seattle Reign.
Yeah, and then we have the lone goal by Holly Hawksum. But besides that, yeah, it's been pretty much a two-headed monster for scoring.
Yeah,
so
with that's not taking any pressure off Nadim or whatever forwards up there. We talked to Jim before the game, and he's playing a 4-1-4-1, so Nadim is up there all by herself. She's going to need her midfielders to press up. Hayes, Lytle, Gordon.
Nadim with the ball. Plays it over to Lytle, and kicked out of bounds by Yurcak. Another player that actually played in the World Cup. It's interesting. She might be one of the first players back from the World Cup, because New Zealand was knocked out of the group stage and didn't make it to the knockout stage. So she's back, and nice to see her out there. And that's a Katie Friels hit off the woodwork. That was creeping in, and just if the goal was about maybe 3 inches further back, Brittany, we'd be 1-1 right now.
What a boot by Katie Friels. My goodness. So unlucky with the post. I think a lot of NWSL teams will say their post is either their best friend or their worst enemy.
Right now, Chicago's loving the post. Dalton plays a ball that is picked by Gordon, dinged around a little bit, but now Gordon's going to get the ball. Friels maintains possession, looks for another blast, takes a quick hit off, but scooped up by Dalton.
Sky Blue needs to seize the opportunities when they have openings. Don't take too many touches while you're down in the offensive third. Shoot if it's open. Challenge the keeper.
Yep, we saw that just a few seconds ago, that Friels was a little bit outside the box, but just ripped a screamer, and balls like that can create corners, can create rebounds, deflections, and doesn't matter how pretty the goal is, goal's a goal. Levin with a poke at. Gordon on the challenge. Herzig. Did I say Herzig? Herzig, sorry. Apologize to the Chicago fans out there. Gillian. Back over to Johnson. Johnson plays a ball in. Off Huerta.
Cool thing about Herzig I read about today is that she is actually the first New Zealand national team player on the women's side to have 100 caps. So she's definitely a great veteran presence on the back line for the Chicago team.
Yeah, definitely a smart player. We've seen her already coming up big with a big save off of Lytle when she had a challenge in the box. So, and that's hit out. Cutsall over to Gordon. Gordon pass intercepted by DiBernardo. DiBernardo plays a ball to the right. Chicago with 3 players going up. Tries to put a cross in, but Cutsall intercepts.
And there was 2 players unmarked on the far side for Chicago. If Cutsall didn't get a foot on that, probably would have been another goal or a hard save for Cameron to make.
So Taryn Hemmings is going to take the throw. She's got Motts close, but Motts is being kind of double-teamed in front of the throw-in. Played it over to Motts. Levin gets her foot in there. Gordon pokes it out. Herzig puts the ball into the box. Hoy with a turnaround shot. Saved by Cameron. Sometimes Cameron's save just make it look so easy.
And she's been great for Sky Blue all season. Only game she's given up 3 goals was against Washington earlier in the season and their last game against Seattle. She's come up big. She's grown a lot. She does high risk, high reward, and sometimes it pays off pretty big for this team and just has been unlucky in the win column.
Yeah, there's definitely a reason why she wears the captain's armband. Jim Guerrero loves her, loves what she does. She definitely fills in that role sometimes as that sweeper keeper, and it's definitely been that extra defender in the back that a lot of Sky Blue defenders don't hesitate to pass it back to her.
Yeah, Cameron is fearless and such a great leader for this team. When I'm down on the sideline, she's always in the huddle, pumping the team up, saying, let's go, it's our game, let's win. They can be down 5-0, be up 5-0 as well, and she's still pushing the team to give their best.
Definitely one of the more vocal players in the league. Played into the center ball to DiBernardo. Looks like a handball. Haley Hogsman was all over the call before the ref, so you definitely, when the player makes the call, you got to agree with them.
Definitely. We saw it all the way from up here, too.
Yeah. It's one of those free cam balls that you know you handed it, but you just hope the ref didn't see it because it wasn't purposely done, but it's just the way the ball deflects sometimes.
As long as it's not in the box, it's A-okay.
You can ask Germany about those incidental handballs. That's how they tied up their game the other night against France. So Chicago with a few numbers, long ball played. Foot race to Cutsall and Huerta. Cutsall just plays it back to Cameron. Cameron's going to look for a short pass. Goes over to Grubka, Florida State product. Over to Lytle. Challenge on. It's like everybody misses the ball, but Herzig punks it out. Johnson plays over to Gillian. Morse on the challenge. Johnson back to Dalton. Played over to Herzig. Played wide to Hemmings. Back over Colaprico. Colaprico looks for Huerta. Huerta plays it to DiBernardo. Long-footed strike, and kind of right on that no man's land, and Cameron grabs it.
She's always hanging out high, and there we go. Ball goes right to her. Stops the pressure.
Right on that 18-yard box. You don't know. Do you got to use your head, your chest, or your hand? You're just hoping the ball falls in.
Cameron will use anything to stop that ball.
Morris with the right foot across in the box. Gordon streaking, but Herzig's there, showing why she's an international superstar for New Zealand. Just covers so much space, and you look in the box and you think Gordon's open, got an easy strike, but she just covers so much ground. Gordon pokes it back to Lytle over to Hogsma. In challenge is DiBernardo.
WSLsoccer.com for all your updated league information, team standings, and more. That's NWSLsoccer.com.
Sky Blue needs to utilize every opportunity they get in their offensive third. It hasn't come easy. So when they're down there, they really have to look to put together some set pieces and challenge Dalton.
So I guess the ref's telling them to move it up a little bit. Now Chicago staff is telling them to kind of play a little bit more tight in there. I think he wants to tight up their formation. Lately we've seen Sky Blue push up, and there's Gillian pushing it up on the left wing. All kinds of space. Left foot across in, takes a deflection. Back over to DiBernardo. She tries a left-footed shot, blocked by Hogsma. Lytle grabs it. She passes it out to Nadim. Nadim's breaking. Doesn't have a lot of help. He's kind of holding up.
And again, Sky Blue playing so defensively that they're getting stuck back. And when Nadim is up top, she has no help up there. All she can do is pass it back.
Gillian with the challenge on Meg Morris ends up being a Sky Blue throw-in. Over to Morris. Deflected off. Hoy passes it back. And Colaprico dropped it back to Johnson. Now Ertzig's going to push it up towards midfield. Plays it wide to Hemmings. Sliding. Kick away by Levins. Working the line. Stays in bounds somehow. And intercepted. Back to Chicago.
And a great hustle play by Levin out there. Just gave the ball away. Puts no use to the hustle.
DiBernardo slowing things up. Plays a left-footed ball long over to Gillian. Aaron Gillian keeps it in bound with a header. On chase, Meg Morris. Meg Morris on the challenge, battling 1v1. It's going to be a Sky Blue throw-in.
Great job by Morris to keep Gillian in check.
And Morris is one player that's very hard to beat when it comes to one-on-one battle.
She's so quick, so hard-nosed, so defensive and attacking-minded. She can do it all. Very versatile player for Sky Blue.
Some of these players, all you got to do is look up where they went to college. You look up Meg Morris from New Jersey, went to UNC. So once you see that UNC, okay, I know how to play ball. Cami Levin over to Gordon. Lots of pressure.
It's that Tar Heel grind.
Cutsall plays it wide. Over to Maya Hayes. She's pushing up. Plays a ball in. Ertzig intercepted, but looks like Gordon's going to get the possession. Over to Friels. Lytle. Lytle's pass deflected by Quam. Colaprico challenge on by Nadim, but does not get possession. Ertzig plays it over to Johnson. Johnson with a left-footed pass in, and just goes out of bounds. Maya Hayes with a quick turnaround throw-in. Meg Morse intercepted by Huerta. Sorry, not Huerta. That was Colaprico. Colaprico over to DiBernardo. DiBernardo left-footed cross in. Cameron's easily going to grab this. Or not grab it. Just keep it on her feet.
And the pressure from Chicago is just too much for Sky Blue. Possession has definitely heavily favored the Red Stars in this one so far as we reach the 31st minute.
Yep, the 20th minute's come and gone, Brittany. We're usually calling down to the field, so we'll have to call down. You're right here. A little bit different of view from up here in the booth.
Yeah, who doesn't prefer a sideline view? You get to hear the players, hear the coach.
Well, let's hold that thought. Lytle's going into the box. She's got 2-on-1, staying with the ball. Look for left foot, tackled away, still got possession. Left-footed ball, just about an inch wide. So here in the 31st minute, Lytle with a golden opportunity to lock us up at 1-1. Just misses the right post by about 2 inches.
Wow.
So if this post and goals were maybe a foot higher and a foot wider, we'd be sitting on Sky Blue up 2-1. So it's just earlier in the game, Friels hits the post, Lytle about 2 or 3 inches wide. So the opportunities are coming. Just got to put them away.
And that's great to see from Lytle. She was just so determined to get that ball in the goal. She took on 3 of the defenders, stayed with it, got the rebound. You never know. You get a good touch. Dalton can be off her line, out of position, goes in, and you're tied 1-1. Momentum is going towards Sky Blue.
What I liked about that shot, didn't have a lot of power on it, but had placement. And when you see balls like that, all that matters is placement. If you can get a keeper low and away, it doesn't matter how fast the ball goes through.
Yeah, Sky Blue can move the ball in the box a lot. Just move Dalton around, get her off her angle.
Definitely.
Best way to score on a goalkeeper.
Cutsall. She's going to play it back to Cameron. Cameron plays a long ball. It's deflected over. And Colaprico just passes outside the center circle. Over to DiBernardo. Haynes intercepts. Quick over to Morris. Quam on challenge. And intercepted by Johnson. Gilliam with a left foot, a long ball. She sees Jen Hoy. Jen Hoy with a lot of pressure by Cutsall. Play back in. Huerta battling with Hayes. Hayes goes down. It's like they're going to call it a foul on Huerta, fouling on Hayes.
And participating in our 5th World Cup. Make sure to register now on active.com.
Well, back into play here. Haley Hogsema. Challenge on by Motts. And it's going to be Chicago throw in. Over to Colaprico. Little miscommunication there. Jen Hoy kicks it out of bounds. It's going to be Sky Blue throw in. Levin over to Lytle. Lytle over to Hogsema. Hogsema's pass intercepted by Quam. Quam plays a quick ball over to Huerta. Huerta's approaching the box. Plays a ball over to Jen Hoy, who finds the back of the net here in the 34th minute. Chicago with a 2-0 lead.
And again, when you have 2 forwards going up against 2 defenders, it was Grebka and Cutshaw, but Grebka came over towards the initial forward. I think it was Colaprico or Huerta, and just going to dish it off. Once you draw in the player, dish it off to the left side. Brittany Cameron, almost impossible.
So Jen Hoy with the goal. DiBernardo with the goal earlier, but Sophie Huerta with 2 assists tonight.
That's Jennifer Hoy from Sofia Huerta.
And it's no surprise that Huerta, very involved for the Red Stars. She's been such a shining point for this team. Sky Blue just need to find an answer. Their marking in the box hasn't been good, and Red Stars are all over that.
Yeah, definitely. I think the biggest thing Sky Blue can do here is try to find a goal before the half. You've got about 10 minutes, maybe some change, maybe about 1 minute stoppage time. Is you can change the momentum. And remember, you're at home, so you'll have that home crowd behind you. Just change the momentum. Get a goal before the half, and you can flip the game.
Well, if I'm Sky Blue, I'm definitely frustrated with not getting on the win column. They know that they are better than this, and they are better than their record right now. So even though they are down 2-0, they just need to dig deep, find the grit, and get on the board before the half. That's going to be key.
So that's Cutsall. She's going to approach final third. Hayes plays a ball in, miss-hit, try to get to Cutsall, but somehow Cutsall comes out with a deflection. Still dinging around in there, and Lytle's going to get it. Friels. Lytle wide to Levin. Levin plays a left-footed ball in. Cutsall tries to go for the header. Sky Blue wanted a handball there. Friels tries to get the ball. Great tackle by Quam. Cameron way off of her line playing the ball. Over to Hayes. Hayes approaching the box. Plays a ball in. Looks like a miscommunication there. Probably wants that ball back. Quam. Over to Yurcak. Yurcak plays a long pass over to Hoy. Hoy being marked tight by Cutsall, and there's a foul. And it looks like it's going to be against Hoy. Actually, I thought it'd be against Cutzall. Even Cutzall thought so. All the Sky Blue players started dropping, but take it. Might have been some arm locking in there that we couldn't see from all the way up here because I thought it was a Cutzall foul initially. Hayes plays it into Morris. Johnson there on the challenge. Grubka. Over to Friels. Friels somehow gets a pass off to Lytle. Lytle approaching the box. Got a Deem in the box. Taken away. Huerta dispossessed by Friels. Friels hit right in front of the box. No call. Play on.
And Sky Blue exposing the defensive holes now more, but they're just not finishing and getting enough numbers in the box for them to finish.
DiBernardo plays a softball back to Johnson. Johnson opts to go back to Dalton for the reset. Over to Johnson, wearing the blue headband today. To Quam. Quam plays a ball a little too far over to Huerta. Pops up in the air. Still in the air. Nadeem tries to settle. Plays a nice ball off to Lytle. And it was intercepted by Hemmings. Hayes over to Lytle. She's got Cameron. Not Cameron. Cammy, 11. So it came out as Cameron. To her left. Back over to Lytle. Gordon.
After Michelle Beto scored a goal the other night, I wouldn't be surprised to see Brittany Cameron get into the field of play at this point.
Why not? If we get that this year, 2 goalkeeper score, anything can happen. Approaching the box, good marking by Cutzall, forcing Huerta to play that longer ball. Very good marking.
And that is the pressure that Sky Blue needs to throw at the Red Stars to prevent them from getting a man unmarked in the box.
Hayes. Over to Hogsma. Grubka back to Cameron. Cameron plays a long ball over to Levin. He's wearing the orange boots tonight. Seems like every night, not just tonight. Lytle. Little pass over to Gordon. Back to Hogsma in the orange boots as well. Different orange. Hoy, who scored a goal in the 34th minute. Like she was asking for a call of foul. A little bit of barking at the ref, but no call. Play on. Hayes with the ball. Over to Morris.
And as we approach the 40th minute, you got to think Sky Blue just has their mind set on getting down until their third and scoring a goal. They really need this for momentum and confidence going into the second half. 2-0 is pretty hard to come back from, but it's very doable.
Yeah, they say that like 2-0 is one of the smallest big leads because if you can somehow just get on the board, which Sky Blue is approaching it now, with Nadeem, challenge on by Hemmings, keeps it in, takes a deflection off of Gordon's head. DiBernardo passes over to Hoy. Hoy passes back to DiBernardo. Sky Blue with a lot of numbers, but Red Stars are still playing very attacking style football.
Yeah, if we look at World Cup games yesterday with Canada versus England, England goes up 2-0. Canada gets a one goal, it's 2-1, and everyone's on the edge of their seat because anything can happen. 1 goal, equalize.
Yep.
Going to extra time, PKs.
Definitely.
You never know.
Gordon attempts Hayes on the deflection after Jen Hoy attempts a left-footed cross, but that's going to be a Chicago corner. I believe this is their second corner kick of the night. Their first corner came in the first minute. It's like Danielle Koloprika is going to be taking an in-swinger. Lines up. Chicago with 4 players, 4.5-ish. DiBernardo's approaching the box, but now 5 players right in the box. Goes up, takes a deflection. Looks like we have a foul or maybe a handball. I know it pinged around in there, but referee says sky blue ball. Cameron puts it into play quickly.
Yeah, I think it was a handball, and very good job by Hogsman to get in front of that ball, because if it wasn't a call, it was a very good shot.
Over to Hoy. Flag stays down. Grubka on the challenge. He worked it, just whiffs at it. Hogsma, very good to be there to clear it out. Maybe an inch or two more, and it's 3-0. So still 2-0 to Chicago. Sky Blue trying to knock on the door, trying to get on the board before the half. Got maybe about 3 or 4 minutes to do so. Friels the ball into Nadeem. Kicked out by Johnson. Shouldn't have said kicked out at the angle we're at. It looked like it was going out of bounds, but stays in. That's the tricky part of sitting way up top. Yurcak over to Johnson. He's got Gillian to her left. Decides to go back to Dalton, the goalkeeper.
And again, the Red Stars' quick counter is just seemingly almost too much for Sky Blue's defense to take care of. They are getting in front of the shots, but the 2 goals have come from Gillian or the outside backs dribbling down to the line, serving the ball in, and there's 2 players unmarked and goal.
Yeah, many other opportunities that led to the corner kicks and some, sliding safe in the box. So Sky Blue's got to keep this damage at a minimum. Think about Michelle Dalton. She's done a great job averaging 1.2 goals in her 5 starts. This is her 6th start. Their normal starter is KK, the famous Canadian who just announced that she's going to be stepping down after 18 years playing for the Canadian national team. And that's when it blew my mind. I know she's been on the Canadian roster as a goalkeeper forever, but 18 years. So, hats off to you, KK. Appreciate everything you've done for women's football, just soccer in general, and for Canada. So, cannot wait to see you back wearing a Chicago jersey for the time. No more wearing the Canada jersey, but definitely going to keep you in the NWSL as long as we can.
Yeah, hats off to KK. Michelle Dalton, all credit to her for the great job she's done filling her shoes. She's seen 49 shots, 30 on goal, has 24 saves, only allowed 6 goals so far, and has 2 big shutouts.
Got a 1.2 average. So definitely doing a great job with a 2-1-2 record. And that's the thing that's really impressed me is we didn't know if there was going to be some fall off in this league with a lot of goalkeepers getting called up national team duties. And, hey, we saw a goalkeeper in Portland, score a goal. So, hey, what'd you do? Why, I filled in Beta. So, scored a goal.
Yeah, and Sky Blue is actually the only team that hasn't used their second-string keeper, Aubrey Bledsoe from Wake Forest. Brittany Cameron has played every single minute for this team, and like we've said, has done a great job.
Yeah, and Bledsoe's definitely a really good keeper. Great footwork. I got to see her in a couple of the preseason games for Sky Blue. So definitely a lot of depth. When you have a 9-team league, you're looking at, if you counted teams that maybe have 2 goalkeepers, looking at 18, you're talking some of the 18 best goalkeepers in the United States. So there's a lot of depth in goalkeeping here in the U.S.
Yeah, the national team has a pretty big pool of great goalkeepers to pick from, and the 3 with the team right now I would say are definitely 3 of the best in the world. Solo, Harris, Nair.
Yeah, you
can't
can't go wrong with either one of those 3.
Absolutely not.
So DiBernardo just leaving the midway line, deflected off Grubka. So that referee, 4th official, indicated we're going to have 1 minute of stoppage time. Always seems to be like the standard. 1 goal, 2 goal, couple injuries, 1 minute. Dalton.
And I'm sure Sky Blue just wants to get into the locker room, pull things together. I'm sure Coach Cabrera wants to give him a talking to, too.
Yeah, just keep the damage, like you said, at a minimum here. That 2 goals are something you can come back for. Just kind of preach at halftime, hey, let's get a goal right after the half, and then it's anybody's game, because once you change that, you've got time to get in the second goal to make it 1-1, 2-2, I don't know why I said 1-1, but to make it 2-2. So still within reach.
Well, Sky Blue hasn't made it any easier on themselves at all this season. They're at the bottom of the table sitting in 9th place, only team with single digits, 7 points. So just adds so much more pressure on them to try and grind out wins. And being down 2-0 is just so tough, and I'm sure the break was well needed for this team, and I'm sure it gave them some time to recuperate, pull things together.
Yeah, definitely. So we do have a corner kick. It looks like it's going to happen My thought is this may be the last play of the half. DiBernardo's sitting over the ball. She's going to have a little bit of help short. Like she got Colaprico just there for the short ball, but she's going to play an outswinger into the box. And there's the halftime whistle. Didn't even let that play fully play out. Kind of let it just hit out of bounds. So there's our half. Chicago Red Stars 2, Sky Blue 0. We're going to take a break. We'll be back a few minutes before halftime to go over what's going to be seen in the second half. But, hey, you're listening to Charlie Flo and Brittany Alvarado. Just want to say hi to Dan up in Canada. Hey, Dan.
Hi, Dan. We'll be back.
We invite you to stop by the
And welcome back to the Sky Blue broadcast. Charlie Flo here with Brittany Alvarado. We also want to talk about something special tonight. There's a shirt that Brittany and I both have. Brittany's wearing it. It is Pride Night tonight. We're celebrating Pride Night, and very historical in our country that, marriage equality, marriage for everybody.
I think it's such a great thing that these teams are doing. A lot of the teams in the NWSL are having Pride Night. These women have such platforms for younger girls, younger guys, any age, that by representing this, it gives them confidence that we're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, it's great. We have the Pride flag flying right below the American flag. This is a great night and Pride Day in New York City. And pretty interesting that we planned this Pride Night out months ago before we even, this whole thing went down in the U.S. So all positive, So
very fitting.
Yes,
very fitting for us to have
very
this.
fitting, literally. You got a good fit shirt. I haven't tried mine on yet, but I do have this shirt. I'll be wearing it a little later tonight, when I'm not so formal. Like, this thing here is not usually my everyday attire, but we're going to look at the second half. We want to talk about what sub we might see in the second half.
Well, Nikki Stanton was warming up on the field. Stanton got signed last year late in the season by Sky Blue. Hasn't seen a lot of time this season, but I think Coach Gabera sees a lot in her. She is just very, very feisty, has so much power, fire in her. She can be a huge spark plug for the Sky Blue team, who really needs this right now, down 2-0 at the half.
Yeah, definitely. You want to use the subs. You have 3 subs a game, so definitely key to use a sub right away. Get some fresh legs out there. Just go out there. Just play some attacking football.
I think it's very good for Sky Blue to use a quick substitute. Might even see, I like a Lola Bonta coming off the bench. Small, quick little forward. Maybe if Sky Blue changes their very fearless Stanford grad, she comes out on the field. She has shown that she can hit the ball from the outside, the 18-yard, score goals that way, beat defenders, go 1v1. So we get some of that out here. Sky Blue can make a quick comeback.
Yep, Sky Blue huddling up, getting ready to start the second half. And we don't know about the Chicago changes yet. Chicago's walking back out, so we'll definitely look over the lineups and see if there's been any changes. Like we said, Nikki Stanton probably coming in, as a sub for Chicago.
There she is. She certainly is. Nikki Stanton, this is the most significant minutes that she will be playing this season so far. She got in the Seattle game towards the end, and that was her hometown, so it was great for her to play in front of her hometown crowd. But really look for Stanton, number 7 in the midfield, to bring a spark plug to Sky Blue as they press forward to tie, hopefully, and if they can win the game, that would be great. They need 3 points.
Yeah, definitely 3 points is a must. Now these draws, which Sky Blue has 4 of, they've got 1 win, 4 draws, 4 losses. It comes to a point where you can't keep taking draws. You need the 3 points. And if they get the 3 points tonight, they're just going to be like a point or 2 outside of the last playoff window.
Yeah, and they don't want to be in desperation mode just yet. Their World Cup players are coming back soon. Foligno's coming back as Canada lost. We're going to have Sam Kerr, Caitlin Ford. Look for when Sam Kerr comes back to help Nadia up top, get some pressure off her. But in order for the World Cup players to come back on time, they're going to have to, Sky Blue has to pull something together. So it gives them hope, so the impact they can make actually means something.
Yeah, definitely a lot of firepower that'll be rejoining Sky Blue. But tonight they've only got to worry about one thing, and it's the players they have available. So second half is underway. Over to Morris, Hayes deflected out. So Morris is the one that stepped out. She's the one that was subbed out. So definitely good to see Nikki Stanton back in. Quick throw in, intercepted by Hayes. Falls over Yurcak. Yurcak with the ball again. Plays it wide to Hemming. Shauna Gordon with the interception. Tries a little move, almost fakes herself out, but keeps the ball. Tries to play it on Nadeem, but intercepted by Johnson. Hawkinson plays it wide to Hayes. Hayes with a couple little moves. Over to Stanton. Hawksma, number 17. I may have messed up that call a few seconds ago, but Stanton wearing the number 7. Hawksma, 17.
It's the blonde hair with the braids.
I can't make that excuse. I'll get butchered.
Trying to help you out here.
Yeah. Throw me a bone, man. So Stanton with the ball. Plays it over to Hayes. Back over to Stanton. Stanton looks to play it over to Friels. Stanton looking for help.
And it's good to see Sky Blue coming out of the locker room holding possession a lot more than they did in the first half. That is going to be key to them driving in and scoring.
Yeah, definitely if you want to keep that ball in that half and create pressing and not turn the ball over. The biggest thing last one is their final third build up. A lot of little silly turnovers, so hopefully they can fix that and take advantage.
Yeah, they're just not connecting their passes as efficiently as they should. The pressure that Chicago is throwing at them, it's almost cutthroat at this point. They haven't gotten anything past, their midfield many times.
Yeah. So Johnson looking to play it in.
And you don't want to wait until the end of the game to bring a fire because at that point it could be too late.
Cotzal goes up, gets the header. Friels grabs the ball, puts it over to Hogsma. Hogsma puts it wide over to Levin. Levin plays it into Dean. Dean looking at the double team. Motz comes in to help out. Plays the ball in, chested down by Yurcak. She's going to boom it out of bounds. Right over to the Sky Blue bench. Levin with the throw in over to Gordon. Gordon the double team. Smartly plays it back to Levin. Levin plays it over to Friels. Friels plays a one-timer pass over to Gordon. Gordon's near the corner. Puts it back to Friels. Friels plays a left-footed ball in the box. Handled by Yurcak. She plays it out. A lot of pressure on Huerta. She puts it back to Motz. Over to DiBernardo. DiBernardo plays a left-footed ball. Deflected by Taylor Lytle's head. Recovered by Hayes. Over to Stanton. Stanton plays a light ball over to Lytle. Lytle plays it back to Hayes. Back to Stanton. A lot of patience and build-up, Brittany. We're seeing that right here, and probably their third possession, they've really taken their time until the turnover to Motz. A good possession.
Well, yeah, when Sky Blue finds movement, they are exposing the holes of Chicago. So by being patient and moving the ball around, off-the-ball movement, something's going to string together.
Yurcak plays it back to Dalton. Looks like Chicago's going to try to catch their breath for a moment. Dalton's in no rush. Especially when you have a 2-0 lead on the road, you're not going to rush anything right now.
Absolutely not. Chicago in very good position right now.
Gillian plays it over to Hoy. Deflected off. Just out of the reach of Quam. Friels plays it into Nadeem. Nadeem's got all kinds of space. Flags are down. Plays it in. Hard save by Dalton. It's going to stay in bounds, and it's going to be a throw-in for Sky Blue. Sky Blue is one of their bigger opportunities tonight. Nadeem has huge pressure. Great shot on goal.
And going one-on-one with Nadeem is a scary thing. Dalton looks her straight in the eyes and stops that shot. I think everyone in the stands and on the Sky Blue bench thought Nadeem would convert that.
Yeah, a lot of space, but the thing is she was wide, so Dalton did a good job of staying true, hangs around the 6-yard line. Gordon plays a great ball into Nadeem. Nadeem with all kinds of space. Left-footed ball right in front of frame. No one there. Cleared out.
And again, Sky Blue getting the opportunities, but there's no help in the box. If Nadeem had someone at the far post, Dalton was off her line, and Sky Blue could have got a goal.
Mott's breaking on the right side of the field. Breaks in for Chicago. Plays a ball in. Intercepted by Hayes. Gordon. That's a tough thing when you have one lone striker up top. Sometimes when that striker puts the ball in, it's tough to have some of that pressure calling in, but this is the point of the game where you have a lot of players that need to crash the net.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like Nadeem is a little lonely out there. I'm sure she's waiting for O'Hara to come back from World Cup duties. Those two connected like peanut butter and jelly last season, so I'm sure Sky Blue fans as well want her back.
Now you're going to distract me with some food references. Not good at it when God's hungry. Actually what I had for lunch, believe it or not.
Peanut butter and jelly.
Hey, can't go wrong. Wide to Hayes. Hayes dribbling in towards the box. She plays the ball onto Lytle, just out of her reach. Scooped up by Dalton.
Sky Blue definitely stringing together a lot more opportunities than they did in the first half. I'm sure Coach Gabera gave him a good talking to in the locker room, told him to bring it together. You guys need to win this game. We can't settle for 0 points once again.
Over to Hoy. Headed away. by Cutsall, but Hoy gets the ball, puts it back to Motts. Motts, a little one-on-one with Levin. Looking for the right-footed cross, plays it in, intercepted by Cutsall on the ground. A little sliding and poking at the ball, stays in. Levin keeps it in, over to Gordon. Gordon just hits out of bounds, looks like a little miss hit there by her. Do see some activity on the Chicago sideline. Looks like they've got about 4 players warming up. So Chicago's yet to use any of their subs. Definitely a thing that you, as Chicago holding a 2-0 lead, you will probably see them use all 3. You're going to look at all types of time-using tactics when you're up on the road.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And with a 2-0 lead, maybe they want to have some of their starters get some rest, have some fresh legs for next week. You know, we saw that a lot in the World Cup where
definitely
some of the starters, you know, got some time off and you put in girls, but the depth of each bench is huge, and it's great to see some players get out there and get some playing time and make an impact.
Yeah, sometimes it's this World Cup call-up thing where you have, you know, players that are on the reserve teams that don't get the regular minutes, or even players that are just, you know, deep on your depth of your rosters that normally wouldn't see depth time. It's as a coach, sometimes you can use it towards your advantage. As Chicago, you've seen, they haven't really missed much of beat. They did lose the one game, 3-1 against the Flash, but you're getting to use players, you know, and for sakes that a player gets injured or is just tired or you have a red card, you know, and they need to miss a game, you get to see what some of these players normally wouldn't get minutes, what they can do now. So sometimes it might be a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, and it's definitely great. You would assume that the national team players, once they are back, would be put into a starting role once again.
So Friels maintains possession here. Over to the Deem, intercepted by Quam, still battling for it. Kicked out. Lytle comes up with the ball. Challenge on Gordon by Motts, but no call. DiBernardo plays it out. Over to Hoy. Hoy and Cutsall battling one-on-one. Cutsall comes out.
FC gear at our merchandise tent located on the stadium concourse.
Hoy getting challenged on by Levin. Levin with a sliding tackle. No call. She did get all ball. But I guess the official's going to overrule. Originally was no call, and looks like we're going to have a foul on Levin. It appeared that she did get ball first, and there was no call by the sideline official, or the second official. But it looks like we are going to have a foul against Levin. So DiBernardo is going to be taking it. Look for an in-swinger. And DiBernardo connected earlier in the game. She got the first goal for Chicago. She's going to be setting this one up. Plays it in. Headed away by Levin. On Chase Stanton. Stanton sliding in. Looks like it went off a Chicago player.
And that's the hustle I talked about with Stanton, going full speed at the ball.
Yeah, no fear when she approached Danielle Colaprico. And got the deflection, gets a throw-in. Well done. Hogsema over to Stanton. Back to Hayes. Looking to build up some possession. Back to Stanton. Stanton with a lot of pressure by Quam. Over to Huerta. She plays a ball into Hoy, but intercepted by Cutsall. Cutsall over to Friels. Tracking back. Looks like it was Hemmings, and Colaprico. And she dispossesses.
And Sky Blue needs to clean that up. When they have a quick counter opportunity, they can't give away the possession.
Hemmings, tracked on by Stanton. Now tracked on by Hayes. It's going to fall in for a corner kick for Chicago. This will be Chicago's third corner kick of the night. Colaprico is approaching the ball. She's going to be taking it and taking her time to take it.
Don't blame her on that one.
And a slow little trot. Right outside the box will be DiBernardo for the short ball. Just kind of, I don't think they'll be playing a short ball, but just there for the respect factor. But with Chicago has 3 players right on the line, right on the edge of the goal. Played in. Lytle, no, I think that was Nadeem. Sorry, gets a head on it. Tracking back is Sam Johnson. Plays it back to Dalton. Dalton back over to Johnson. Plays a long ball in. Lots of pressure by Huerta. Cutzall just plays it over to Cameron. Cameron over to Stanton. Stanton wide to Hayes. Hayes approaching the halfway line. Plays over to Lytle. Lytle with a soft pass over to Friels. Friels looks, sees Levin running. Plays a great ball to her, just out of her reach. Aaron Gillian with a pass over to Huerta, intercepted by Cutzall. Back to Levin. Friels with the ball over to Nadim. Flags are up offside.
Nadim definitely disagrees with that. I don't know. From up here, it looked pretty close.
It was right on the line. And it's interesting how she said you disagree. There are sometimes you see forwards that will agree and they put their hand like, all right, I know I was off. But that was one of the borderline ones that it's a tough one.
And Nadia is usually pretty good at timing her runs. I'm sure she's frustrated. She wants to get on the board. But
then again, we're talking about Nadim, one of the toughest competitors just in this league. I don't think she'll ever put her hand up that she was offsides. Ever. We'll have to ask her about that one. So that rolls out of bounds. Going to be a sky blue throw in. Levin will take it.
Yeah, she's definitely got that Danish attitude in her. But it's what makes her so special.
Yeah, very unfortunate that Denmark did not make the Women's World Cup, because that's a player that you definitely would love to see on the World Cup level and just see how she would excel, playing. Because Denmark, they're a team that has beaten the U.S. before.
In the Algarve Cup, I believe, what was it, 2013?
Something like that. I know that she pretty much put a hurting on the U.S.
Yes, she definitely did.
So that's going to be a Chicago throw-in deep that Hemmings is going to take. Plays over to Huerta. Hayes comes out with it, kicks it out. Quam with a throw over to Huerta. Huerta looking for help, sees Colaprico. Colaprico plays it back to Ertzig. Ertzig swings it over to Gillian. Hemmings. Hemmings approaches the box, loses the ball. Stanton comes out with it. Over to Lytle.
Sky Blue needs to get numbers up here as we possess in the midfield.
So Chicago takes the ball. Quam takes it away. She's actually kneeling down, so I'm not sure if she's injured or hurt. She's got a little bit of limp. Can't see her on the screen now, but Michelle Quam's definitely limping right now. Motts covered by Gordon. Gordon with a sliding attempt, misses. Motts maintains possession. Plays the ball in. Hits the back of the frame. Not sure if that was just a miscommunication thing there, but had space there.
And as we hit the 61st minute, it's not time to hit the panic button for Sky Blue, but to make a comeback even possible, they have to get the ball in the net. And here we go.
Friels with the ball. Attempted long ball over to Nadim, intercepted by Johnson. Well, time of the 60th minute. You're right on cue. Normally, 60th minute, we're calling down to you on the sidelines, Brittany.
And I'm up here, hanging out.
At the 20s, Brittany. Hawksma wide over to Hayes. Hayes over to Lytle. Lytle looks for a right-footed shot. Well over.
And Lytle will do that a lot. We saw her against the Breakers take many shots outside the 18-yard box. She has a lot of pace and power behind that right foot. Keep challenging Dalton. That's all they can do at this point.
Yeah, we've seen Lytle on her. It's hard to refer to this as her second year. It almost is her second year because she had a season-ending injury last year, so pretty much this is like her second year. But in her rookie season, she scored some screamers. I remember her scoring a beautiful goal on the road against Portland. So she's a player that can hit it from far. So sometimes just test Dalton. Dalton hasn't had a lot of challenges back there, but put it on frame. Good things happen. In the meantime, Jen Hoy is breaking, challenged one-on-one by Cutzall. Hoy is in the box. And that's in the goal for Mott's goal Chicago here in the 62nd minute. That'll be 3-0 to Chicago. So Hoy sets up Mott's, the former Sky Blue player, to make it 3-0.
And once again, Brittany Cameron just completely outnumbered by Chicago Red Star forwards. They're unmarked in the box. Brittany Cameron can't stop them all. As we see here, Jen Hoy come down into the box, taking on Cutshall one-on-one. Here comes Mott's. Quick shot off her right foot.
Yeah, low
Cameron
corner.
has no chance.
Back in play. Nadim just plays a long ball out of frustration over to Dalton. Falls in. Dalton doesn't even have to use her hand. She's just going to waste some clock here.
And Charlie, I think that might be the dagger for Sky Blue in this one.
The assist to number 24, Danielle Colaprico. That's Jennifer Hoy, her second of the game from Danielle Colaprico.
So ignore the PA there. The actual goal was by Motts, Alyssa Motts, the former Sky Blue player. I know it can get confusing in the box there, but that goal was actually by Alyssa Motts. So we have 3 different Chicago players. Colaprico on the board. Hoy got the second goal, or the second goal of the game. Sorry, excuse me. So Chicago's showing that they can, distribute the ball all around and find a different scorer every night. And that's a scary thing that they have another player called Kristen Press who's not even with them.
I mean, every team knows how dangerous this Chicago team is. And it's scary to know that, like you mentioned, Press isn't even with the team right now and hasn't been with them for about a month. And Chicago's finding a way to score, and they're scoring a lot. It's not just 1 goal a game, 1 easy goal. It's 2 goals, 3 goals.
Once again, the Chicago goal scored by number 24, Danielle Colaprico, assisted by number 2, Jennifer Hoy.
And that's Grubka putting it back into Stanton.
Last call for the Sky Blue FC Beer Garden. Fans 21 and older in the Beer Garden will be
over to Lytle, back to Stanton.
If you would like to make one last trip tonight. As always, if you do choose to drink
over to Hogsma.
beverages, please do so responsibly.
Grubka plays a ball that just kind of hangs in the air, tries to grab her header. Huerta recovers over to DiBernardo. Sam Johnson plays it wide. Right footed shot rip by Gillian, sails over. So it'll be a Sky Blue goal kick here. Approaching we are in the 65th minute. Just recently, Chicago made it 3-0. So if Sky Blue any chance in this game, they definitely got to get on the board, but I'd say before the 70th minute.
Yeah, they need some kind of confidence in this game, and even if they're going to lose 3-0, they need to go down swinging. They can't just fold here.
And that's saved by Cameron. Not a very threatening ball by Huerta, but hit almost out of reach of Cameron. So that could have been disastrous to make it 4-0. So Chicago's not happy with the 3-0. They're definitely going for the dagger right now. They've got the 3-0. They're going for the 4-0. Colaprico over to Johnson. Hogsma wide to Gordon. Gordon got a lot of space, being tracked by DiBernardo, excuse me. I combined 2 players' name, why not? Nadim, left-footed rip. 1 bouncer over to Dalton.
Dalton's seen quite a few shots on goal, but they're just not challenging her enough. It's bouncing right to her. She's on her angle.
Yeah, nothing she's had to dive for. She's stayed on her feet pretty much all the game tonight. Never really had to leave her feet much at all for any of the challenges. So when a goalkeeper gets to stay on 2 feet, that's definitely an ideal situation. Because I don't think there's any grass on her jersey whatsoever yet.
Well, yeah, the closest Sky Blue came to scoring was that beautiful shot by Friels. Hits the crossbar. Kind of the epitome of this game right now. Just
Lytle with a flick in just out of the reach of Nadim. Nadim very frustrated.
It's tough breaks for the Sky Blue team.
So the only player I see on the Sky Blue sideline warming up is Coco Goodson. You know, you look at a game like this, yeah, it's 3-0. Maybe it's out of reach, but it comes a point or two that it would be good to see Coco Goodson back in there. I'd say she's probably got maybe 15, 20 minutes. I would not be surprised to see her come in about maybe 70th, 75th minute, get her some reps out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to have her back. Hopefully, once she gets up to pace with her fitness, she'll be seeing a lot more minutes. But fortunately, Sky Blue's down 3-0. Coach Cabrera giving her the go. Hey, get out there, get some time.
Yeah.
Brush the rust off and give us all you got.
I mean, she's a player in her rookie season, did score a goal off of a corner kick against Washington on the road. So she's a player that can find the back of the net. So, and she jokes with me about that. She did play forward in college, you know, so she does have that scoring instinct. And Gabera talked about her during the week. They'd worked her out playing some forward up top, but just game fitness is the biggest thing. You look, she had an entire offseason, and she pretty much, you know, announced that she was hanging up the cleats for good. So, you know, it's a different kind of workout when you're in an offseason preparing to play soccer, and then when you decide to retire, it's not something you maintain every day. So definitely going to be time for she's 90 minutes fit. Over to Motts. Motts being tracked by Gordon. Over to Hemmings. Plays it over to Colaprico. Swings it over to Johnson. Johnson just taking her time. Over to Colaprico. She's fouled on Nadim from behind. So Chicago with a free kick. Not super dangerous, but an area enough that you do need to respect.
And Nadim needs to be careful. She's sitting on 2 yellow cards right now. Believe third one leads to suspension, correct, for 1 game?
It's like we do have a sub that's going to be coming in for Sky Blue momentarily. And that's going to be Pratt. She's going to be coming in. Sade Pratt. Not sure she'll be coming in for. But there's going to be a goal kick for Sky Blue.
And this will be her first minutes in a Sky Blue uniform.
This is correct. For those fans out there, here's your trivia. First ever game for Pratt. Coming in for Meg Morris. Going to play the right back position. Good game for Meg Morris. A lot of energy out of her tonight.
It's actually Maya coming off.
What did I say? Did I say Meg Morris?
They are best friends, so.
Yeah, if Meg Morris came off the halftime, that's Maya Hayes. Man, sometimes it happens to commentator. Sometimes the brain doesn't do what it want you to do.
And I've gotten the chance to see Pratt play and practice with Sky Blue, and she's very quick, very attacking-minded. She scored a lot of goals in practice. Hopefully that can turn over into the game.
So this is a deep throw-in for Chicago. They're backed against the wall.
It's a new face, but you never know. She could be a rising star. She has a good amount of time to make something happen here.
Ertzig clears it off with pressure by Nadim. And there's Pratt with her first touch as a Sky Blue player. Pratt to Lytle. Over to Grubka. Grubka just hit the ball just out of the reach of Hogsma, but Levin tracks back to get it. Gordon, pass in by Levin. Gordon looking for her help. Plays it back to Levin. Levin's got a little bit of space. Sliding tackle in. Levin's double teamed. Puts in a light cross, easily handled by Dalton. So we're in the 71st minute with Chicago leading 3-0. Pretty even distribution. 3 different players for Chicago getting on the board. Grubka heads it away. Over to Pratt. Pratt's ball intercepted by Gillian. Gillian over to Colaprico. Pratt battling with Huerta. That's cleared off by Hogsma. DiBernardo, a lot of pressure, maintains possession. Dumps it back to Gillian. Gillian plays it in to Huerta. Huerta tries a little flick header. Again, Huerta with the ball. Stabs at it. Anything near frame when you're up 3-0, why not? Cameron easily grabs it, drop kicks it out of her box.
Cameron quick to get the ball out. Just hoping to keep pushing. Sky Blue. Like I said, you want them to go down swinging, even though it's pretty tough to keep your head in the game when you're down 3-0.
And that's going to go out of bounds for a Sky Blue throw-in. 11 with a long attempt to throw into Gordon. Gordon with a lot of space in front of her. Gordon goes down. They're going to call a foul about maybe 3-4 yards outside the 18-yard box. Very big area here. Not sure who's going to take this. Katie Fields has been like the free kick expert as of late, so put a nasty one in against Rutgers in the preseason. I know it's preseason, but hey, when you put a ball upper 90, it doesn't matter what team it's against.
Upper 90 is always a beauty. So we have a free kick for Sky Blue.
I think we're going to make the wall back up a little bit, not quite 10 yards. You always line up the wall a little bit short. So Friels with Gordon sit outside there. Not sure if it's a decoy. Fans are stomping their feet, want to get into it. This is the moment that they need. Katie Friels plays a low ball in. Kicked out by Juan. Back to Pratt. Pratt plays it wide to Lytle. Lytle back to Pratt. Pratt just plays it back to Cameron. Cameron way off her line, pushing up. Cameron plays a long ball that sails out of bounds.
And again with that free kick opportunity, another wasted chance for Sky Blue. Friels with a low service goes right to a Chicago Red Stars defender and out, and the opportunity done.
Yeah, I'm not sure if she was trying to play in the air and just kind of hit too much on top of the ball to create that downspin, so very unfortunate hit. Huerta over to Hoy. Grubka tracking, plays it back to Cameron. Over to Pratt. And Pratt seeing her first ever minutes in a sky blue jersey. Pratt and Chase. Over to Gillian. She's approaching the box. Grubka makes a move. Just hit over left-footed shot. And we have Coco Goodson making her 2015 Sky Blue debut for Shauna Gordon. Something we've never seen is Coco Goodson playing up top.
Welcome back, Coco.
All we ask for you, Coco, is a hat trick. That's all we ask. A hat trick? Save the day. Maybe 4 goals. Get a double brace if there's such a thing.
That might go down in history as one of the best comebacks
Hey, why
in
not?
sports history.
Come unretired, make a huge comeback. No, it's great to see Coco out there getting some minutes, regardless of the score. Just seeing a player that we know can produce 90 minutes. Stanton over to Lytle. Back to Hawksma. So Sky Blue now has used up all 3 of their subs. So the players you see out there are going to finish the game off. 11 over to Lytle. Lytle pressured on. Lytle still fighting. DiBernardo comes out with it. Plays it over to Huerta. Huerta with a bad first touch. And Stanton takes advantage of that. Friels, double team, gets a ball into Coco Goodson. She makes a touch, dribbles over the ball. Little one-on battle with Hoy and Cutzall. Cutzall plays a hard ball back to Cameron, easily recovered. Pressure by Hoy. Cameron with a little step over, no big deal.
Little shake and bake by Brandon Cameron there.
Why not? Always makes you hold your breath if you're a coach. Not as big a deal for us in the booth, but as a coach, when a goalkeeper makes a step over move to a forward, whoo! Seems like things go in slow motion. Just out of the reach of Coco Goodson. But yeah, Coco had spent the season, on the retirement list, so it was very nice, like I said, to see her back here and playing. And it always throws me off when I saw a roster one time after I'd known her for a while, and it said Courtney Goodson. And I was like, I didn't know your first name was Courtney. So learn a new thing about somebody. So no, that's not her birth name, Coco, even though it's a pretty awesome name.
Reminds me of Cocoa Puffs, another
food reference. I always think of, I don't know, now you've just got me thinking food. We go into, breakfast, lunch, dinner, why not? Hit the buffet after the game, why not? Over to Huerta. Pressure by Levin. Hogsma in there. Tracked back by Stanton. Stanton's done a great job playing in that midfield area. Pratt, being challenged on by Quam, decides to pass it back to Grubka. Grubka, a rookie out of Florida State, recently in the fall won a championship. She's been a mainstay in that back line area, just playing solid minutes every night.
She's basically a brick wall in human form. And tonight, not her best game. Defense did not play their best game, but I think all season the back line has definitely shined and showed great signs. There's good days, there's bad days. Today, unfortunately, a bad day for Sky Blue.
Or by calling 888-SBFC-TIX.
So there's Hogsma, plays it over to Stanton. Stanton plays it over to Pratt. Pratt approaches, intercepted. Chicago comes out with the ball. DiBernardo plays the left-footed long ball over to Huerta. Cameron way out of her box. Ball with a ton of backspin, stays in bounds, and Pratt's trying to maintain possession. Goes out of bounds. That's going to be out on Pratt. It's going to be Chicago throw-in. We're now entering the 79th minute, with Chicago leading 3-0.
Player autographs after the match, which will be conducted all along the railing of the stands.
Chicago, a lot of pressure in. Gilliam with a cross in front of frame. Battling for it is Motts and Levin. Dumps it back to Hemmings. Hemmings and Lytle. Hemmings tracking in. Hemmings still on. And deflected out by Cutsall for a Chicago corner kick.
Chicago does such a great job in the box, moving the ball, off the ball movement, getting Sky Blue defenders off their mark, pushing it past them, and making opportunities. And here we have another corner for Chicago.
Like DiBernardo is going to take this player we talked about earlier that it's been an assist machine, had 4 assists coming into this game.
And getting on the score sheet, too.
Cross in, headed out. Stanton with a nice track on the ball there. A lot of respect on a hustle there. But Chicago maintained possession on a throw-in. Definitely what we've seen out of Stanton's a lot of hustle tonight. There's a lot of players out there that know the score, but they're not playing for the score right now. They're playing for respect, and they're trying to play for minutes later on in the season. Gilliam with a ball in. Kicked out by Cutsall. Quam keeps it alive. DiBernardo makes a turn. Plays it out wide. Gillian trying to keep it in. It is on the line. Pratt grabs it. Puts it over to Goodson. A little bit of a tumble there. We're going to have a foul on Stanton, like she fouled. Yeah, it's DiBernardo. Pretty far away from here. That's probably the farthest place away from the booth. So DiBernardo's sitting over the free kick. Played back. Dangerous play there. Chicago with the ball in the box. Out for another Chicago corner kick. Chicago's just going to take their time. That now we're into the 80-plus minute area. Looking on the Chicago sideline, doesn't look like they have anybody, lined up ready to sub in. So we'll see how that goes for Chicago. Put in by Colaprico, punched away by Cameron, but we have some jostling in the box, and it's a foul against Chicago. Play that doesn't count in the book, counts as a foul, but definitely a good punch away by Cameron. Cameron with the goal kick. Hemmings heads it over. DiBernardo plays a long ball to Hemmings. Hemmings approaching the box. Plays it in. A little backheel flicker. Doesn't go in. Cleared out by Grubka. Moss plays it wide to Hemmings. Hemmings over to DiBernardo. Plays a left-footed ball in that Hoy tries to flick wide. She has her help with Huerta. Huerta left-footed shot saved by Cameron. Kwan with a shot, stays off the line.
And that is what Brittany Cameron does. She comes up with big saves. She does not want this game to get too out of hand, even though it's out of reach right now. We've seen her do it so many times. Make the first save, the second save, even the third save.
Still a lot of action in there, stays out of the net. So you said a lot of these players have pride. They're not going to let it fourth goal get in. They're going to fight.
Yeah, so much credit to Cameron for her grit on the line. She's really come up big for Sky Blue this season. And as I mentioned earlier, it's unfortunate that Sky Blue sits in last place, will continue to sit in last place, and just gets very frustrating as a keeper because it's very lonely back there. And I'm sure Cameron...
That's a shot. Looks like the flex of a little Finley Fire. Levin comes up with the ball. She plays it over to Lytle. Lytle over to Friels. Johnson clears off her line. I shouldn't say off her line. She's way off of her line. Kutzall wide to Pratt. Pratt over to Goodson. Hoy being double teamed. Stanton. Over to Hawksma. Wide to Levin. Levin approaching goal with a lot of steam. Plays her in a Deem. Deem's looking for help or looking for a shot. Plays it wide to Pratt. Sky Blue with numbers. Pratt taking it in the box. Looking for her help. Dispossessed. Gillian takes the ball. She's breaking. A lot of pressure by Stanton, tracking her back. Plays it over to Hoy, but intercepted by Grubka.
What a great run back by Stanton there to challenge her.
And another run back by Gillian. Looks like she fouls Stanton, but no whistles. Goodson plays a long ball over to Lytle. Lytle going one-on-one. Lytle takes a right-footed rip just over the bar. So the chances are there. They just haven't capitalized by putting it in the back of the net.
And again, Lytle with such a big shot behind her small frame. One of them will fall one of these days. But
just gotta keep shooting.
Yeah. As we talk about the midfielder woes for Sky Blue, we didn't mention that Sarah Killian is actually a huge piece missing out of their midfield. The first round, second overall pick from UCLA. She really teamed up with Friels in the preseason, and they were coming up with ship names for both of them because they were doing so great. But Killian, I believe, still nursing the knee injury that was bothering her earlier in the season. And, I think Sky Blue is really missing her.
Yeah, she's a very, very valuable asset to this team, and she's a rookie, so you don't want to push her too much. You look at her, you want to keep her around for the long haul. So Friels in the box, makes a nifty little move, crosses it in front, deflected, still stays in. Goodson's going to play a ball in, hit over the head of everyone. Levin tracking. We're in the 86th minute with Chicago leading 3-0. Hawksman plays a good ball in. Coco Goodson just over her reach. So Dalton comes up. I would say it's an easy ball, but easy for her.
Coco would have timed it a little bit better. Maybe could have gotten her head on it and put it past Dalton. But Dalton right there. Once again, as she's been there this whole game.
Good track back by Stanton, dispossessing.
On her way to her third shutout so far this season. Just a little over 4 minutes away from that.
Hawks on to play a long ball and Dean. Too short. Ertz plays it in. Headed by Hogsma. Stanton on a challenge. No whistle. Play on. Over to Gillian. And Colaprica puts it back to Gillian, and Gillian just calmly dumps it back to Johnson, and Johnson's going to just Knock a light ball back to Dalton. It's kind of a little dinging around here, using up clock. I think we're seeing the same play cycle over and over.
And it looks like Chicago's going to sub Michelle Lumnicki in to the game.
Yep, this is a player with a lot of experience coming in, wearing number 13. Unlucky number, but lucky for Chicago tonight.
Yeah, she did a great job in center back, holding the position while Yurcak was at World Cup duties. But now that Yurcak is back, she is coming off the bench as a sub.
Yeah, I did see in a couple of those corner kicks, the camera's not always on the other sideline seeing what's going on. Yurcak did go over quite a few times and getting water, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's who she's going to come in for. She's going to come in for Rachel Kwan, actually.
The match, number 13, Michelle Lumnicki.
So Lumnicki comes in for Rachel Kwan. That's the player that I said earlier had a little bit of a limp to her, so maybe a little precautionary. Just pull her out, let her sit down, let the doc look at her and talk to her. Levin with the throw-in. Over to Goodson. Goodson with a flicker. Still in the air. Hawksville recovers. Plays a wide ball to Pratt. Entering into the 89th minute. Not much time left. Don't see much time on the stoppage. Extra time. Maybe about 3 minutes. 4 at the max, probably. Nadine. Stanton. Back to Nadine. Dispossessed. Lumnicki gets right into the action right away. Plays it over to Hoy. Cameron. Plays it wide to Pratt.
And a score I just showed you, the Western New York Flash defeated the Boston Breakers 2-0. So that's keeping the Flash in the hunt for the playoffs. They didn't start out so well, but they really just pulled it together and have been making quite the case that they pull off a playoff run.
Yep, Airlines finds a way. Last season was definitely an exception that they didn't find the playoffs, but under Airlines, they have won a championship at every level. WPS, WPSL. The only one they haven't won is the NWSL, but you know they've found championships at so many different levels of whatever league was the highest level of leagues in the United States. So there goes the Chicago sub.
She replaces number 2, Jennifer Hoy.
Yep. Jennifer Hoy comes in, and Kara Wall's also a forward that has put in some meaningful minutes this season coming in for her. Hoy with a heck of a game tonight.
It's always satisfying as a player when you get on the score sheet.
So we're going to have 3 minutes of added time tonight. Chicago's going to take their time with these 3 minutes.
A minimum of 3 minutes has been added.
Gillian's just going to put it in a corner and play a little shielding the ball. Pratt knocks it out. Oh, somehow actually it's Sky Blue throwing, so we are a good maybe 100 yards away, so we do miss a few of the touches. Pratt plays the long ball over. Lumnicki intercepts. Goodson all over it. Goodson plays her to Nadeem. She's got Tara Lytle. She's got Levin kind of hit over to Lytle. Lytle's got options. Lytle puts it off to Levin. Plays a ball in. Flicked on by Goodson. Nadeem on challenge. It's going to fall in for a goal kick. Oh, no, excuse me. Sorry, corner kick. I wasn't sure if Nadeem touched it right there before we went out of bounds. So that's going to be a corner kick for Sky Blue. Sky Blue's going to put pretty much everybody in the box. Everybody's approaching the box except Pratt, and Levin's kind of hanging near the top, and so's Lytle. But played in. Nadeem with a side kick. Hit the frame. Inches from going in.
Wow.
Beautiful scissor kick by Nadim. Unfortunately, does not find it back in net. That finds it back in net. That's a top 10 goal of the week.
If that goes in, it's number 1 on ESPN.
Hawks him up with a flicker.
Wow.
Falls in. Hawks him with a blast. Deflected out. Sky Blue in his last 3 minutes showing lots of energy. Don't want to put up the donut tonight. Looks like we might have a foul, looks like, on Pratt. So.
And here's Nadim with that bicycle kick off the crossbar. What a shot by Nadim.
It's a very cruel game at times. Sometimes the post is your best friend, sometimes it's your enemy. And right now, Dalton's going to go over there and thank the post for helping her with the shutout.
I mean, think about it. Nadim hits the crossbar. Friels hits the crossbar. That's a 3-2 game right now.
Yeah, and even with Lytle's shot earlier here, the first half, that goes inches wide when it's still 1-0. So it's a very tough game when they go back and look at the tape. A lot of times that they'll be like, oh, gosh, should have had that one. But Chicago's going to do some clock milking here. The World Cup break, I guess my voice took a little bit of break too.
Got to dust the rust off for us broadcasters as well.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
great
I'm
to be
glad
back.
that our game isn't conflicting with any of the World Cup games, because sometimes there are those games that, you got to make that tough choice. So watch NWSL or watch World Cup. Well, very happy that we were able to broadcast this game with not any World Cup interference. But there's the final whistle. Chicago Red Stars take a 3-0 win over Sky Blue. Sky Blue stay at the bottom of the table. Chicago moves up there, right up there in the top. So I want to thank everybody for joining us, and want to thank, a special thank to our broadcast crew here in J Discover, and huge thank you to Brittany Cameron for hanging out with me tonight.
Brittany Alvarado. I mean,
What did I say, Brittany Cameron? My God, man.
That'd be pretty cool for me to be Brittany Cameron.
That means you would have been in goal tonight, right?
Yes.
So,
I mean, I have been a keeper, so.
Brittany Alvarado
Never
spent
know.
90 minutes tonight. Perfect 90 minutes, Brittany.
It's been great. And with this game, hopefully it's really rough for Sky Blue to take another loss and sit at the bottom of the table, but it's still not time to panic. There's still a lot of time left in the season with their World Cup players, and
Yeah.
I mean,
They've hit exactly the halfway mark. They have 10 games under their belt, so you still have 5 games that, hey, you string together what they did last year with a huge winning streak, just getting 4th place, getting in playoffs. That's all that matters right now.
well, the great thing about the table is a win's 3 points, and 1 win can put you ahead of anyone in this
Yep.
game. So,
Yep. Well, we're going to sign off. Brittany Alvarado, Charlie Flo. Again, thank you, Brittany, for joining me tonight.
it was a pleasure. Have a great night, everyone.
Goodbye.